Okay, good evening, everyone. Can you all let me know if you all can hear me and see a screen? Yes, can see a screen? Right, okay. So today we'll start with the 2017 paper. Okay, so we'll somehow try and finish all the Unit 1 papers today so that we can move to Unit 2 and 3 the next class. Okay, so we have done until the 2016 A-level paper, if I'm not mistaken, right? We've done all the essay questions and the MCQs. So today what we will be doing is 2017 onwards, we'll be doing all the essay questions. So 17, 18, 19, and 2021 and 22. So there are 6 papers that we need to do. So ideally, if we can take around 15 to 20 minutes per paper within 2 hours, we should be able to finish. And there is also a lot of questions that we have already discussed, the same questions that get repeated over and over and over again. So therefore, we will not go into very detail onto those. The ones that are new, there are a few interesting questions, especially in the 2022 paper. Okay, so we'll discuss those as well, and we'll get going. Yes, have you all finished all the papers for now? Yes. Now, we had a break last week as well. Did you all finish all the Unit 1 MCQs and essay questions? Done? 2011 to 2022? Yes? Okay, so good. Most of you all here in the class have done. Others, I'm not very sure. So I'm guessing, guys, do you all have all your answers nicely written on full caps and, put into like a file or something? Yeah. All answers nicely put onto a nice full cap. All right. How many pages are there so far for unit number 1 on your file answers for unit number 1? At least I'm guessing 20 pages of answers. At least 15 to 20. 8. I mean, like 1, 2, 3, 4. If you've written all essay questions, I'm guessing, one essay question will take at least 2 sides, right? So then if you're looking from 2011 to 2022, we are looking at around, how much? We're looking at around 11, 12 papers, right? So good to see most of you all have written. Others also, guys, try your level best to finish off. I don't think the workload is that high. So all what you have to do is if you can allocate around half an hour every day, you can finish all of these papers. So, and trust me, if you can finish all of these papers, right? So there are some people with 32 pages of answers also, good, right? If you all can finish all the papers, like I said at the very beginning, by the time we end this past paper class, you all will have a huge set of answers that you have written. Looking at that alone will give you a lot of confidence. And for those who have written, do you realize now it's the same question coming again and again and again? Yes, did you all realize that? All those who have completed the papers, there may be 1 or 2 new subparts that come here and there, but most of it is the same thing they're asking again and again and again, right? So that's why I say along with past papers, just past papers alone, you can even get 80% of the marks that is available. The other 1 or 2 will be a little new, but that also with your normal knowledge, you should be able to answer, right? So we'll get started and we'll move to the PowerPoint. We'll start with the 2017 A-level question. Give me a second. Okay. So starting with the 2017 A-level question number 1. Okay. So this is a year that I also did A-levels at, and it was an interesting paper, not that hard, not that easy. From 2017 onwards, all the papers have been of normal, good standard. There was no easy paper. There was no hard paper. Okay. So 2017 A-levels question 1, subpart 1. The following diagram shows a production possibility of curve of an economy which produces only civilian and military goods. Okay. Assume that the economy is producing at point K. So currently, where are they at? Currently, they are at point K. Okay. And then they are saying, so currently they are operating here. Okay. Assume that the economy is present point K. Does this economy's production possibility curve exhibit increasing opportunity cost? Explain. Okay, first of all, does it exhibit increasing opportunity cost? Yes or no? Yes, it does exhibit increasing opportunity cost. What can be your explanation, guys? What is your, the explain part, what can you write? You can say, right? You can give an answer like this. Now, you know, how did you find out that it is increasing opportunity cost? By looking at the shape, no, guys. You saw that this is the concave PPC. By looking at the shape, you figured out, look here, yes, it exhibits increasing opportunity cost. So you can give your answer like this. You can say, right, this PPC is concave to the origin. Meaning, right, if the economy wants to produce more of one good, by an equal quantity, it has to give up an increasing amount of the other good. That is what a concave PPC tells us, guys. When the PPC is concave, every time we increase the amount by little, the amount of the other good that we have to forego keeps increasing. The slope increases. Now, see, now if you look at a concave PPC, here it has a flatter slope. Here it has a more steeper slope. Yeah, that is what happens. So you can give your explanation something like that. You can say, look here, this PPC is concave to the origin, meaning the economy has to, if they want to increase the production of one good by an equal amount, they have to give up more and more of the other good. So as a result, you can say, therefore, this PPC depicts increasing opportunity cost. Is that okay, guys? I'll find. Now, it doesn't have to be these exact words. As long as you are giving out that meaning, it should be completely okay. Any questions on that? Fine. Give me a second. Why can't I see it? Hold on. Okay. Please give me a second. Hold on. My PowerPoint is stuck a little. Wait. Hold on. Okay. Right. So then we'll add the small line. Therefore, it exhibits increasing opportunity cost. Okay. So then, guys, we'll go to the second one. Now, these ones are easy. If the economy was to go for war, the most likely point or most likely move would be from point K to which point? Explain. What do you all think, guys? If the economy was to go for war, where would they go to? They're currently at point K. Where would they go to? Will they go to U? Will they go to E, T, M? Where will they go to? From K to? Now think, guys. The two goods are military goods and civil goods. So you need to realize, look here, if the economy is to go for war, they have to produce more military goods. A more need is there. But the question comes here, guys. A little bit of common sense is also needed here. Okay. Now, first of all, we'll cut out the obvious answers. Yes, point E, they can't anyway go because that is scarcity. There is no point going to point A. You can't go to point E. Is there a point of going to point U? Again, no, guys. That's kind of an unemployment. It shows inefficiency. So therefore, E and U are obvious answers that we can cut out. So if that is the case, we are left with 2 points. We're left with the 2 points. What are the 2 points? M and T. Which one do you think is the better point, guys? If we are to go for war, now point T is where you're producing a lot of military goods. Right? At point T, you're producing a high amount of military goods and you're producing some small amount of civil goods also. Point M is where you're producing 100% of military goods. You're not producing any civil goods. So if the economy is to go for war, guys, what do you all think? Should we produce 100% military goods, or should we produce more military goods but still continue to produce some civil goods? Which one is the better one, guys? M or T? T is the better one, right? So you need to realize, even though now I understand that you have to go for war, you need military goods, but that doesn't mean you can give up all your civil goods. No. Now civil goods can be the food, can be, clothes, the normal day-to-day goods. So you can't give up all of that and you can't only produce military goods. That doesn't make sense, right? So therefore, where will the economy go to? The economy will go from point K to point T, not to point M, because M is 100% military goods. Any economy can't survive with zero civil goods. So therefore, your answer would be the economy would move from point K to point T. What can be your explanation? You can say, if the economy is to go for war, it would require a higher amount of military goods while still consuming some amount of consumer goods or some amount of civil goods. Therefore, moving from point K to T would enable the economy to do so. Something like that. So you need to explain, look here, going for war means you will need more military goods, but you still need some amount of civil goods. So the point that is exhibiting that is a move from K to T. Fine. Any question? Yep. Okay. Then we'll go to the third one. See, if the economy entered into a recession, the economy would move from point K to which point? Where will they move from, guys? A recession. We talked about this a lot during, COVID and all. Now, what is a recession? Once again, we spoke about this, right? A recession is where the aggregate demand in the economy goes down. People are not spending. Now, this happened during COVID, no? During COVID, what happened? People were not spending. You were only spending on your essentials. All the other money you kept with you. So as a result, the aggregate demand in the economy is going down. That means people are not spending. No one is demanding for goods and services. When no one demands for goods and services, what happens? The unemployment rate increases because the firms reduce production now. If people are buying only, let's say, 100 clothes, firms which were producing 1,000 clothes will now only produce 100. So some of their machines will be idle. They will cut off some employees. They'll fire them off. Yeah. So unemployment increases with a recession. Hope you all remember that story. So then, guys, how can you show this? How can you show this recession and moving to unemployment and all? Where would you go? From point K to which point? You would ideally go from point K to point U, right? That is the only point where you have which is inside the PPC. So is that also okay? So your explanation can be, in a recession, aggregate demand decreases. It leads to unemployment. Therefore, you go from point K to point U. Yes, you all have to practice writing answers. Right now, I know you all know that it's K to U, but how you all write the answer is the problem. Some of you all don't give the answer properly. You all know it goes from K to U, but putting that into words is the challenge that most of you all face. So please make sure that you all write answers, right? Pen on paper, not just listen to answer. Okay. So we'll move to the next one. Okay. Say 3 reasons that explain why the division of labor increases an economy's level of production. Now, you all know division of labor. What is division of labor? Where you divide the production process into small parts. If you take a garment factory, you divide it. You have the small cutting department. You have the sewing department. You have the, let's say, buttoning department. You have the ironing department, the packaging department. So division of labor is where you break down the production process into smaller parts, and one person focuses only on one small part. Okay. And as a result, they become specialized, then all of that happens. So can you give me, think practically, guys, it doesn't have to be in your tute. Just tell me 3 reasons that explain why division of labor will increase the economy's level of production. What do you all think? Give me some reasons that you all have written. Things like what? What can we say? Okay, so we'll say division of labor. Okay, division of labor leads to specialization. Okay, it leads to specialization. Therefore, let's say the productivity. Okay, or we'll say in others the speed increases. Speed of producing goods increase. Okay, that's one reason. So division of labor will lead to specialization. So therefore, the firms can produce much faster because now people are highly specialized. They're producing faster. It increases the economy's level of output. What else can you say, guys? A few other reasons. Okay, I saw one more. Okay, so you can also say this would reduce the level of wastage, no? Now, in division of labor, when there is division of labor and specialization, the wastage in the economy goes down. So then you're not wasting resources means you're able to produce more goods, no? So this would reduce the level of wastage, leading to less errors and a higher level of output. That's another level of output. What else, guys? What else can you say? Okay, yes, you can say idle time of employees are reduced. I'll directly copy and paste that without typing. Good, right? You can say the idle time of employees are reduced because everyone is working, right? They're doing, and doing. Yes, it reduces cost. Okay, so you can also say this reduces the cost of production, right? Therefore, the producers are able to supply more. In others, they produce more, correct? Yes, you can say because of division of labor, innovative ideas can come up. Yes, you can talk about that. Anything else? More opportunities for specialization, more opportunities in the sense how? Yes, well, specialization, yes, that's the first one. Did I miss any answer? Mass production, yes, you can also say this, guys. So how does this reduce the cost of production? Because of the fact of economies of scale. Yeah, because of economies of scale, they are producing in mass quantities. No, you're not now when you have division of labor in a factory, you're not producing 1 or 2 units. No, you're producing hundreds and hundreds of units. What does that lead to? It leads to high amounts of mass production. As a result, right, the firms are able to supply more goods and services. Fine. So those kind of reasons you all can give, guys. So now remember, yes, you can also say yes, division of labor encourages the use of specialized machinery. Correct. Right. Therefore, you are able to produce more. All of that is fine. So remember, guys, now questions like this might not directly be in your tute. And I don't think this is directly there in my tute also, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. But questions like this, don't you think you can use a little bit of common sense and answer? Now, these are the questions, those I told you. Every year, there will be one question that is a little new. That might not be there in past papers. That might not directly be there in one of your school notes or teacher's tunes. Do you think a question like this is impossible to answer? Can handle, right? You can think a little on your common sense. Yeah. This answer. So they are only asking you to state 3 reasons. So as long as you give 3 points, that's more than enough. You don't have to write paragraphs and paragraphs because the answer verb, remember I told you in the very first class, always figure out the answer verb. When they say state, yeah, this explain is another one. They are not asking you to explain. They are saying state 3 reasons that explain why it leads to this. So they are not asking you to explain. They are asking you to state 3 reasons. Okay, done. Then we'll go to the next one. With the help of a production possibility curve, explain the concept of scarcity. Yes, can you all handle this on your own? Yes. Come on now. Yeah. So you can, how you will do this is you will, okay, I'll just give you all the points. I'm not going to jot down. I'm hoping by now if I type a typical answer that is underestimating your skill, okay? So how will they give you marks for this is they can give you 2 marks for the diagram, 2 marks for the explanation. Or they can give you 1 mark for the diagram, 3 marks for explanation. So we don't know. We don't really know how are they going to give marks. So therefore, guys, remember the trick that I have told you, and I think I would have told this in my theory class. So they are saying, no, with the help of a diagram. So this question, this is how they will give you marks. Okay, listen carefully. How do you structure your answer? So they can give you for the diagram. Now they are saying no with the help of a diagram, PPC. They can give you 2 marks and they can give you for the explanation, they can give you another 2. Okay. Or right now, when you all are writing the answer, you all have not seen the marking scheme. Now I can look at the marking scheme and tell you this is how children, the marks have been divided. But during A levels, when you're writing the paper, you don't know how the marking scheme is. Yeah. That's why. So, or else they can give you 1 mark for the diagram and 3 marks for the explanation. Is that clear how the marks could be broken down to a question like this? Either 2 and 2 or 1 and 3. I don't think they are going to give 3 marks for the diagram and 1 mark for the explanation. Not likely. Is that part okay? How they can break it down? Fine. So if this is the case, now these are the possibilities. No? So when you're writing your answer now, you know how you should write. Always select the higher end. So for the diagram, they can either give 1 mark or 2 marks. So when drawing your diagram, draw it saying that maybe the examiner is going to give 2 marks. So let me draw the diagram for 2 marks. So label everything, label y-axis, the x-axis, right? Label the PPC, draw a point and outside the PPC, put an arrow and say this is scarcity. So show everything. And then for the explanation, you write for 3 marks. So now whatever way that the examiner gives you marks, whether it is 2 and 2 or 1 and 3, you have somehow covered everything. The highest possible way you have always covered. So that is how you answer questions. So when you can't figure out how exactly the examiner might break it down. Now, for the previous question, it's very clear. State 3 reasons and they have given you 3 marks. So how will the examiner break it down? 3 reasons, 1 mark per reason. But for a question like this, even I might be not sure. During the exam, when I also read this, I am not sure. Are they going to give me 1 mark for the diagram or 2 marks for the diagram? Are they going to give me 2 marks for the explanation or 3 marks for the explanation? So therefore, you break it down in your mind and always write for the higher amount of marks. You draw the diagram for 2 marks, write an explanation for 3 marks. Somehow, you get your total 4 marks. So what can you do then? In terms of an explanation, how can you write? They're saying, explain the concept of scarcity. So you can first start off with saying, what is scarcity? You can say scarcity is the limitedness of resources compared to unlimited human wants. You can start off like that. Then you can also say, what does the PPC show? So now PPC is that curve, no guys. So you can say the production possibility curve depicts the maximum possible combinations of 2 goods an economy can produce if they use all their resources. If they use all their resources, the different combinations a country can produce. So then you can say, therefore, any point outside the production possibility curve is unattainable, meaning that the economy does not have resources to produce that combination. Therefore, any point outside the PPC will depict scarcity, something like that. It doesn't have to be the exact words that I am saying. So your answer points can be like this. So first of all, you talk about what is scarcity. Then you talk about the PPC, right? What does the PPC show? Then what do you do? Then you connect the 3 points, the 2 points above, and you explain. Can you handle something like that? Fine. Yes, manageable. So if you're drawing the diagram for 2 marks, so it's more like a very complete diagram. So what you can do is label this as PPC, right? This is PPC. Put 2 axes. So maybe you can say capital goods and consumer goods, or you can say X and Y. Mark this point, label this as scarcity. Okay. Then maybe put a 0 over here. I think that's a very complete diagram. There's nothing else that you can do. No, anything else that I miss? No, right? That's all that you can put. Okay, done. Then we go to the next one. Question 4. What functions do price serve in a market economy? Now, can you see this is like the 10th time that they have repeated this? I don't know the 10th time. I don't know, like at least 5 times they have repeated this, no? The functions of price. So you can go with the 3 functions, the signaling is informative, rationing, and the incentive function. So those I'm guessing you all can handle now, guys. I don't have to explain. I already have explained in previous papers. Okay, done. So see, they're asking what are the 3 functions now. So you don't even have to go and explain in detail. But if you really want, like if you feel like, not nice, just giving a line, don't waste a lot of time, but write 1 line about it if you all want to, right? The question is asking what functions do price perform. So even mentioning the three functions are more than enough. Just writing these three functions, signaling function, rationing function, incentive function, you should get your 3 marks. But some of you all feel bad. I was, not nice, not to write only this much. So if you all are really feeling bad, write one line about it. No problem. Even to be a little bit on the safe side. So write one small line, but don't waste a lot of time. Don't go and write a paragraph and, around 4 or 5 lines. Not needed. Okay. Done. Then we go to the last question. The 2017 A-level question, state the disadvantages of a command economy. Same question was changed and repeated in the latest paper. They asked, state the disadvantages of a market economy. Okay. So what are the disadvantages of a command economy, guys? Just think, a command economy is where the government is coming and they are doing everything, right? The central planning authority, they are the ones planning out everything. So what can be the problems, guys? Public ownership is there a disadvantage? Okay, no consumer sovereignty, correct. So consumer can't decide what goods to produce and all. So he doesn't have a choice. So no consumer sovereignty. And you can also say no choice. There is not big of a choice for the consumer. You can say that, right? What else? Okay, so you can say, right, no competition. There is no competition in a market economy. Sorry, in a command economy. What else? Lack of competition. Yes. So you can also say now, given the fact that there is a lack of competition, what can you say, guys? The quality of the good, right? Quality of the goods suffer. Or in other words, that means there is low quality of the goods. And also you can say increased wastage. Okay, now because of the fact that there is no competition, there is no motivation for you to do better. No? So you waste a lot of resources and you do all of that. That is there. Then what? Then you can also say problems relating to control and coordination. Now, just think in Sri Lanka, if the private sector was not there, do you think the government alone has the capacity to produce all the goods and services the country needs? Won't be easy, no? It's not able, they won't be able to coordinate all of this to produce so much amount of goods. No, government is producing some school, education, they're producing some hospitals, healthcare, they're producing some sort of transportation services, but will they able to be produced? Will they be able to produce everything the economy needs? I don't think. That's why we say problems relating to control and coordination. Yes, so you can say low standard of living. So we'll connect to this, right? So low standard of living because you don't have much of a choice, no? You have to, always consume the same thing, right? Yes, lack of innovation, correct. Is coordination. Hold on. Coordination. Then you have lack of innovation, correct. What else? No private property, but is that really a disadvantage? Not a main thing, right? That's okay. It's not a big disadvantage. Social justice is the motive. Again, not a disadvantage, right? I think it's a good thing. Social justice being the motive. Less innovation, correct. Centralized decision making, fine, but is that a disadvantage? So you can say because of centralized decision making only, there is no consumer sovereignty and all of that. Be very careful, guys. Don't give features of this. Black market involvement, there can be, but you can't say definitely there will be black market, because if the government is efficient and properly distributing the goods, maybe there is no black market. Overemployment, okay, will associate that with wastage. Problematic decision making, okay, we'll connect that with this. Government monopoly, okay, no competition. Command economy being unstable. Unstable in the sense, I talking about macroeconomic instability. Dictatorship, okay, we'll go along, connect that with point number 1. No incentives. Yeah, so these are the main points, guys. Now, I didn't write all the answers that you all said. Yes, inefficient will lead that with increased wastage, or we can say higher levels of inefficiency. So guys, remember, now the answer point for something like this, you all know so many answers. But when you all are writing answers, right, don't write the same thing in 2 ways. Now, for example, something like this. See, you can't say no consumer sovereignty, and then you can't say no choice as another point. Now, what is consumer sovereignty? Consumer sovereignty is where the consumer has the power to decide what they want. Yeah. So then when you say no consumer sovereignty and then say no choice and then low standard of living. Now, why do you have a low standard of living? Because there is no choice. You only have one sort of option. You have to consume that. So standard of living is very low. So be very careful, guys. Now, when you all are writing, don't write this as 3 points because there can be a possibility where the examiner can then cut marks. He might not give you 3 marks then. He might combine and say 1 mark. So be very careful with things like that. And also, when they say state the disadvantages and they're giving you 4 marks, ideally you have to write 4 points. But I'll tell you, to be on the safer side for a question like this, write 1 or 2 more. So even if you have like wrote the same thing twice, the examiner might, combine that to give another mark. But since you have written an extra one, he might give you marks for that also. Correct answer is to write only 4. But we are not sure, no. So therefore, not that it will take a lot of time also. No? So for something like this, writing 1 or 2 extra points is okay. That will cost you like, 30 seconds more. No? So that's not a big problem. Is that okay, guys? Are you all fine with that? The 2017 paper? Okay? Done. Give me a second.